All right, so Ray Charles, many other greats in music have ties to the Tampa Bay area. Decades ago, black musicians, where they could perform was actually pretty limited.
So black performers found soul and sanctuary on the Chitlin Circuit. Fox 13's Briona Arradondo joins us in studio to show us more of our rhythm roots this week. Briona.
Hey, so the Chitlin Circuit left a lasting impression on everyone. Some musicians even turned to the community for help with their sets. Years later, it inspired a St. Pete musician working to make his own way after the circuit went away. A haven for sound right in Tampa. Black residents back in the 1950s and 60s could hear the very best of themselves on Central Avenue.
You can come for this fantastic music by some of the world's most famous musicians when they were young, came here as part of the Chitlin Circuit, a major stop for those entertainers.
Tampa historian Fred Hearns and I walked the footprint of that part of history. It went straight that way.
It was wider than this, but it ran north and south right through the middle of the park.
And when pros like Ray Charles and Ella Fitzgerald came to Fred's hometown, musicians tapped into a special relationship.
They would borrow instruments from the junior high school or the high school band directors for their bands on Central Avenue.
Their presence also brought perspective for young musicians in school, including Fred.
And my junior high school band director, who knew Ray Charles. And I remember him saying, you know, Ray doesn't have a real smooth, calm voice. He sings kind of jagged. He said, but that's what makes him so popular. So you don't always have to follow the rules that other people have laid down.
Making your own way on the Chitlin Circuit continued into the 1960s and 70s, reaching Hiram Hazley in St. Petersburg, another city on the circuit.
Well, they had a Manhattan casino.
I sat down with Hiram at his piano to hear how his musical career began 50 years ago. So when you were growing up, were you ever in a band?
When I was growing up, I was in a few groups, yeah. Actually, the first band I was in was Boo Cool Funk. And really, that was my first experience with the whole, wow, we're working after school, we go play in this band.
He made $5 at his first gig. Then the reality of exposure at that time set in.
It was so limited for us to get opportunities to play. In fact, when our band finally broke up, our drummer went to one of the groups that was playing on the circuit, and his life changed.
Hiram later joined another band, donned a slick suit, and recorded his first record.
So we emerged from jam to the Washington Jam Band, and WJB became the acronym that kind of drove us through.
Their sound got them into clubs, but WJB did not take off as they'd hoped. While those notes faded to the background, Hiram never left music, playing as a professional across various forms, from dance bands to jazz. And even produced songs like this one with other artists. These days, he's jamming on his upright bass around Tampa Bay, seeing new musicians come up.
And those musicians they're just something to watch, man.
Joining a scene with roots on the circuit. Hiram Hazley actually plays many instruments like a lot of pros. He started out on the trumpet before learning piano, drums, bass, and even vocals. He tells me it was actually a wagon of instruments in the 5th grade that sparked his musical career. Linda?
That is talent. Thanks, Briona. And we'll share stories of Tampa's rhythm roots all this week in our 10 p.m. newscast. We're taking you through parts of the area's black music heritage, from the Chitlin Circuit to the next generation of musicians. If you missed any of these stories, you can find them on our website, fox13news.com. Just look under the More tab and click on Rhythm Roots.